Top 5 Most Popular Rolex Watches to Invest 2022. Rolex watches are one of a kind. They are mass-produced, however, they are incredibly difficult to get new. In most circumstances, customers must purchase their Rolex from the pre-owned market, which comes at a premium price. Many watch collectors are left wondering in today's market which Rolex investment watches of this year are the most prevalent. Well, in this video, we've got you covered. Welcome back to our channel, and for this episode, we will be discussing the top 5 most popular Rolex watches to invest this year. Some people collect Rolex watches to own them, while others try to sell them for a profit. It feels wonderful to know whether the pricey watch you just bought was a solid investment or one that would lose you money, whether you're selling or holding. In no particular order, make sure to stay until the end of this video as we all take a closer look at these Rolex watches to see which one is worth the purchase. Number 1. John Mayer Daytona, Yellow Gold and Green Dial. The Rolex Cosmograph Daytona received its seal of approval when John Mayer co-signed with the Daytona collection. Since then, the price of this gorgeous yellow gold green dial timepiece has been increasing like crazy. The reference 116508 is a fascinating blend of functionality and sporty elegance, making it even more desirable to watch collectors. Also, it's hard not to get mesmerized with the alternating dial color that appears bright green or black depending on the sun's angle. Cool, isn't it? The solid yellow gold green dial John Mayer Daytona is the top Rolex investment watch in terms of monetary gains. The MSRP of this reference is $37,550. However, it has been advertised for as much as $85,500 on internet marketplaces. Yes, the style of this watch is great and the color combination is eye-catching in a classic Rolex manner, but I believe the name adds value. Mayer is well known in the watch world as a collector of beautiful watches, and this appears to have caught his attention. It's difficult to find a John Mayer watch from a Rolex authorized dealer, and due to high demand, the John Mayer Rolex Daytona backlog could last 5 to 10 years, by which time it may have been discontinued. Number 2. Rolex Submariner, Date and No Date. The Rolex Submariner is the most iconic and enduring watch of all time. Rolex investment watches will never go out of style, and they always have been in high demand. The conventional black Submariner Date and No Date may not command as high a price as other Rolex watches, but you can bet on these references to be worth more over time than you paid new or pre-owned. Remember that time changes people, and people change. However, the Rolex Submariner and its fan base will never change. It's also worth noting that the dial designs variants on some of the most valuable vintage Submariner watches, such as the reference 1680 Red Sub, make them extremely desirable. Even little changes on the dial can catapult the price of one Submariner over another, adding to it the thrill for investors and fanatics. All of these factors not only make the Rolex Submariner a lot of fun to seek out and acquire, but they also add value to the watch in general, with some little nuances worth thousands of dollars. Because of all these changes on an otherwise steadfast and iconic design, the Submariner is now one of the most sought-after watches in the world. In fact, most collectors believe the Submariner is undervalued, as many individuals are ready to pay way above retail for one if they can get ahead on the queue and buy one on the secondary market. So if you acquire a Rolex Submariner and keep it for a long time, you can almost certainly expect it to appreciate in value. These watches retail for $8,950 and $10,100 new, respectively, and have been spotted selling for up to $14,000 pre-owned. Paying that much to get your hands on this watch isn't an insane idea, considering you could wait years for a chance to buy one at retail, and even then, there is no assurance. Rolex Pepsi GMT Master 2 Reference 1675. The GMT Master, which was introduced in the 1950s and can show the time in 2 distinct time zones at the same time, was designed as a navigation tool for professionals traveling throughout the world. The legendary Rolex GMT Master is an absolute classic that was in production from 1959 to 1980. If you want to invest in a watch that has a vintage essence but is highly rewarding in terms of investment, then this Rolex reference will definitely be your ideal choice. You can most certainly never go wrong with the easily recognizable fat font red and blue Pepsi bezel insert that has faded to a desirable hue over the years, matte black dial with excellent lume patina, and the tritium hour markers that look stunning. The prices of these vintage icons will escalate the older they become. So if you're looking for a sign, this is it. Invest in one today. The Rolex Pepsi GMT is a classic luxury watch that has lately resurfaced as the current reference. Even after generations, the Rolex Pepsi watch collection is still trendy. And it's one of the most difficult Rolex watches to find at authorized dealers. The current Pepsi reference 126710 BLRO costs $10,750 new and has been advertised for pre-owned as much as $22,000. This timepiece not only reaches our list of Rolex investment watches for this year, but it'll almost certainly be in every one we rate in the future. Are you enjoying the list so far? If you are, please give this video a like and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos like this. Number 4. The Rolex Milouss. In 1956, when the Milouss came out, the world was abuzz with nuclear research, especially at places like CERN, still the most advanced particle accelerator. Meanwhile, all the incredible technology developed during World War II was being ported to commercial uses, making electrical engineers one of the most important professional groups on the planet at the time. Rolex gave them what they needed, a watch able to withstand 1000 mil Gauss, a measure of electromagnetic fields. Unfortunately, scientists and engineers aren't as well known as they should be, and the Milouss is the only contemporary Rolex model that was discontinued between 1988 and 2007. When the watch was reintroduced in 2007, it was a pleasant surprise for Rolex fans, and the lightning bolt seconds hand is still the most entertaining feature of any Rolex model to date. The current version isn't tough to get in stores, and the Milouss, more than any other Rolex model, is the one that will help you stand out in a crowd. It is without a doubt a watch for the well-informed. Anyone who has recently attempted to purchase one of the Rolex's renowned sports watches understands how inconvenient it may be to see an authorized dealer. Basically, unless you've been a long-time client or are extremely fortunate, you won't be able to receive one without spending a significant period of time on a waiting list. Due to a scarcity of Rolex sports watches, many collectors and aficionados have begun to look for alternatives, and the Milouss has benefited as a result. The watch has seen a spike in popularity on the pre-owned market in the recent years, despite the fact that it's still significantly cheap and shows no signs of slowing down. The Z Blue dial variant, which is likely the most famous in the new models, is already fetching good money through independent sellers. But the original black and white dial variants without the green sapphire crystal are still a good deal. The item with the white dial, in particular, would be worth considering. It is not only a lovely watch, but it also has a distinct aesthetic among the Milouss models. And the fact that it has been discontinued will only benefit it in the future. And let's remember, as the future unfolds, the scarcity of a product only triples, quadruples, or even more grows the value. And lastly, at number 5, it is the Oyster, Perpetual, Tiffany, and Cotton Candy dials. The entire Oyster Perpetual collection is popular among luxury watch lovers. First and foremost, let us confidently assert that the Rolex Tiffany Oyster Perpetual does not exist. It's not always Tiffany blue when something is turquoise blue. 3 references in Rolex's current portfolio have that lovely shimmering tint that reminds me of a tropical sea rather than a New York jeweler. This scarce timepiece is Rolex's special editions of the Oyster Perpetual. Everyone was surprised by the release of this watch, given that Rolex does not often use playful colors. The dial is a Rolex watch's distinguishing characteristics, the element most responsible for its identification and readability. Every Rolex dial is developed and made in-house, primarily by hand, to ensure quality and features gold hour markings to prevent tarnishing. The Tiffany or Cotton Candy dials are excellent options that will pay off handsomely in terms of investment. The 36mm and 41mm steel caliber is a brilliant fit for all occasions, so you shouldn't be surprised why it's one of Rolex's top investment watches for this year. When purchasing these watches, the MSRP for the 36mm and 41mm in these colors is around $5,800 US, although you may find the candy dial on the pre-owned market with prices ranging from $17,000 to a whopping $20,000. The Tiffany Blue Dial reference 124300 currently goes for around $40,000 US on some marketplaces online, while a year ago it cost just around $9,000. Talk about elevating and price hike. And that concludes our list of the top 5 most popular Rolex watches to invest in this year. Indeed, Rolex watches are good investments, especially if purchased new, because their value has historically increased rather than decreased, that is no question. So which one of these 5 luxurious timepieces will you place your money on? Let us know in the comment section below. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe if you haven't, and turn on the notification bell for more. Thanks for watching, and see you again on our next video for more content above first class.